This conference will now be recorded.
Oh, yes, thank you.
No. What you accomplished?
I miss like, I am. Yeah, I'm afraid of that.
Welcome everyone this evening to the Bladen County Board of Commissioners meeting August 1st, 2022. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. And at this time, we'd like to ask Reverend Bruce Miller with Hickory Grove Baptist Church to lead us in prayer, and Mr. Martin following the pledge. Yes, sir. Appreciate you coming, Mr. Miller.
I appreciate y'all letting me come.
Yes, sir. Really.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we do thank you and praise you for each one of these who's serving in this commission, Lord. We are grateful for the sacrifices they make, the commitment they have, and the struggles that they go through. I pray, Lord, you bless each one. I pray you bless their families who give up time together in order that they can be here, serve, make a difference in our county. Father, your word says that you have all wisdom and all knowledge. I pray, Lord, that you share that wisdom and knowledge with these every day as they face decisions. Every day, Lord, you might help to guide them. Father, again, thank you, praise you for them, and the blessing that you give to us throughout our county, every one of us who lives here. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody's gone over the consent items.
Let's go through
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. The second time, Mr. Hester. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Individual delegation wish to address commission? Okay. Thank you. Matter of interest, commissioners?
I got one.
Yes, sir. Roger.
I'd like to see if we, excuse me, get Mr. Martin to look at the building, the whole warehouse building we got right there. That water is coming in, it's getting worse and worse. I was with Mr. Dallas and we looked at it. And if we don't do something with it, it's gonna cause mildew, mold, and everything else to be in that warehouse. It's coming in, I think they looked at it, it's coming in from a wall. We need to figure out how to get that water stopped going in that building. We don't have a water building.
Oh, so that's on the bill.
Also, Mr. Chairman, the bathrooms in there is terrible too. You can flush the bathroom and the water come up through the sink.
In the one, in the bathroom in the far right corner, in the back corner on the right side.
Okay.
Not the one that's up in the.
In the warehouse part?
The one warehouse.
Oh, they don't ever use that.
Yeah, that's one that's in bad shape. But
People
people
care
care
for
like
things.
they're doing,
We can look at that.
but what they're doing, whenever they're working, like doing this road, Bruce don't want them going up in his private part over there, because he have his equipment and stuff there. So we tried to break them to use that bathroom tonight.
Pastor Miller,
Congratulations, happy anniversary, 3 years after Grove Baptist Church, sir. Thank you for everything you do for the community.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Bullock?
I've got a question, regarding, consent item 2I. Will the citizens or local businesses have an opportunity to be employed with those engineers? That's the question that I have.
Want to address that, Mr. Martin?
Well, citizens are,
Or local businesses that deal with, cement finishing and so forth. Would they have an opportunity to work with those engineers?
Well, my understanding for this, related to this particular project we have at the transfer station, that's a specialty type, project. It's a pretty large scale project. It needs to be completed in a very short window of time just because our operation needs to only be down for a shorter time as possible. But, it'll be up in any qualified, responsible and responsive bidder.
Okay.
I don't know how many local contractors would actually have that expertise.
Could you,
So we'll certainly open it up and let the public know.
okay, I'd like to have the, information on that, the public information on that, on the bidding for to be a, help those engineers,
Okay.
the local people. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank
I thought we did a turnkey job on it.
We did too.
No, I'm company that we give the bid to, it's gonna come there and do the work and do it all. Ain't gonna be no more bids.
No, I'm not,
Probably
Mr.
subcontract.
Chairman, I'm not saying a bid. I'm not saying a bid. Just say if you had the business, could I come to you and say, look, I can do cement as well? Would you give the local people an opportunity to work there?
The contract.
Yeah, the contract, not us.
Sign a contract.
I'm just going on what y'all talking about, there might be an opportunity for more bids to go out. We got a turnkey, and these are professional people, and this is what they do.
I didn't say anything about a turnkey. I mean, about a bid.
Mr. Martin
I'll
said-
check on it. I'll check on that.
No, I'm not talking about a bid. I'm just talking about big
I'm
contract.
just trying to follow what Mr. Martin said. He did say a bid.
I didn't mean that if he interpreted that from what I said. All I was wondering, could the locals have an opportunity to work with those engineers?
I'll check on that.
Mr. Brett, if it's all right with you, Mr. Martin, I've got a request, Ontario Fire Department to put their advisory board on there. They got some inactive members and they want to switch two of them out. We'll put that on the next agenda.
Next board, next
Meeting.
Next meeting.
Got that, Mr. Martin?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Special recognition. This evening, we're happy to have Sabrina Baldwin. She's our youth delegate to the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, NCACC Annual Conference. And she's going to address the board this evening and talk to us a little bit. Let her know that we're proud of her and appreciate her and look forward to her representing us well. Feel free to come up. Come right on up. Yes, ma'am, sit down. Relax. Somebody try to bite you by the back.
Good evening. My name is Sabrina Baldwin. I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today on the topic of peer pressure. Peer pressure, what is it? The dictionary defines peer pressure as the direct or indirect, as direct or indirect influence on peers, members of social groups with similar interests, experience, or social status. I define peer pressure as a passive-aggressive suggestion, simply because 28% of the people who have fallen victim to peer pressure did it simply to improve their social status. In a Temple University study addressing the relationship between age and resistance to peer pressure, researchers found that children between the ages of 10 and 14 are the most vulnerable to peer pressure. At the age of 10, my grandmother told me to learn the poem If by R. Kipling. To me, the poem was about standing tall in the face of difficulty and judgment. From personal experience as well as fellow peers, I know that one way to avoid the stress and pressures of the world is by listening to music. Another way I avoid the stress and pressures is with sports. As I take the field to court, all stress vanishes. Peer pressure affects 86% of teenagers by the time they leave high school. As a rising high school student reading this statistic, I know to be cautious when it comes to opinions made by my peers. I realize that I will not see many of my friends after we graduate from high school. Therefore, I must make decisions that will best benefit my future and have the most positive impact. Peer pressure will always exist. However, how people choose to react is what defines their future. Hopefully, I can stay strong when it comes to pressure. Again, I would like to thank you for this opportunity. I want to be a lawyer, and I hope that this camp proves to be beneficial in that endeavor.
We wish you well on that altitude. I think you accomplished whatever you said.
Cheryl, let me say, she's an awesome, dynamic young lady. And she's right. I think she's excelled in most sports. Academically, she's at the top in her class. She's an awesome young lady. And I'm just really proud of you. And good job.
Enjoy your visit at the conference. Emergency service, Mr. Nathan Dowd.
Good evening. I spoke to Greg about an exercise we're having, and we thought it might be a good idea to open the invitation up to you guys. The state EM, gave 3 grants out for 3 counties, Brunswick, Robinson, and Bladen. This is pertaining to Robinson's grant to do an exercise. It's the first exercise of its kind. It is a role reversal exercise. So what that means is on August 18th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Robinson County Emergency Operations Center, the easiest way to say this is if you decided to attend, and I already spoke to Greg, he's going, you would be me and I would be you. So we're going to conduct a commissioners meeting, us emergency managers and EMS guys and public officials are going to be emergency managers. And they're actually going to do a full-blown exercise in the EOC. It's probably going to be a hurricane scenario. And I'm going to be you coming in the EOC, making requests and making phone calls and all that. And you'll be me in the EOC getting assets and all the stuff we go through. So I'm extending the invitation to you guys. I'll be there that day. I know Greg's already made the commitment to go. They're looking for about 3 or 4 from each county. They certainly will welcome more. They're going to feed us lunch. August 18th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I'll be glad to be welcome to get in the truck with me and we'll all ride over there together, however you want to do it. But did want to extend that invitation, and if your schedule allows and it's something you're interested in, if you'll shoot Greg or Maria email, let me know so I can let them know what to plan on for food.
How I am about schedule, so let me check right here. My wife's birthday, August 18th. I'll be there.
Well, you bet.
Don't put nothing before.
Don't get in the doghouse over.
Where's their
Over there on Legend Drive by the prison camp.
Out Fairmont Road, right before St.
Right on 74. It's a very nice facility, very nice facility. Robinson County. So they got 12,000. Brunswick County got 12,000 to do a marine exercise with the Coast Guard that we're going to participate in, and we got a $12,000 grant to do a search and rescue exercise that we're going to do out at Jones Lake in the state forest in October, I think. So that's the 3 counties that got that supplemental grant.
I'm kind of, is this a part of the initiative that Frank Williams from Brunswick County?
Mm-hmm.
He's doing some type of training at the state conference, all-day conference where you can be certified or get some type of certificate for emergency management.
Maybe I have.
It is, I don't know if this is part of that, but you're right, that is his main focus for the year.
Yeah, that's his goal.
Yeah.
They're doing some kind of specific training. If you're there, it's an all-day training, 4 or 5 hours or something.
And they're doing something similar. I've got a DOD summit and all that in Raleigh on August 10th. We got that 10, and they're doing some things there too. Okay. Some government officials and stuff. So anyway, August 18th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you come, love to have you. If you can't, certainly understand. Thank y'all.
Economic Development, Mr. Chuck Eustace.
Over the past month or so, I have gotten the opportunity to talk to everybody. I think the only two that we kept missing each other is me and Mr. Bullock. But since we're doing something a little bit different than we started, initially when I was talking to you all, we're talking about staffing and succession planning, and just the fact that we're a aging department, and there's gonna be a lot of turnover here in the next decade or so. And initially, what we were beginning to talk about, or my theory was that we go ahead and focus on finance as the position we traded out first. Now, in talking to everybody, number one, appreciate all the support that everybody expressed for what we do, both with the county and with Bladen County and the partnership we've had. And as I talked to people, I got some various ideas, and particularly I remember me and Mr. Cogdell had a pretty long conversation about maybe having the position have some additional skills besides focusing on the finance. And that was something expressed by a few different folks. So the theory I'm coming here with tonight is, rather than rushing it and filling a position quickly, that let's go through a process, decide what would be best for creating in this position. Particularly some feedback that I've gotten is somebody that could learn more aspects of the things that I do. So what I'm asking you all to do tonight is, if you all are good with me, Lisa, Greg, and then if you all have people that want to participate, to develop a new job description for a position that would be hired in our office. We don't know what the title or anything would be, because we don't know exactly what skill set we're going to do or the exact things we want. But it would be a position that would understand a little bit of what each of us in the office do, but also could take on some special projects. Like I think Mr. Peters had mentioned the need to do some talent recruitment for the county, and maybe learn some about the housing, which was the biggest issue in the entire strategic plan. So to go back, try to create a job description, and then from what Greg and Lisa told me, we have a consultant we can give it to. They can write up the job description and then create a salary system based on that. So rather than trying to just go in and hire the finance position right now, the theory and the strategy I'd like to take is, let's develop, instead of looking at the positions we have now, develop the position that we're going to need for the future, the one that would best benefit the county, Bladen's Blooming, the citizens. Come up with a job description, come up with what the compensation package would be, and then bring back that to you all for final approval before we hire the position. So from there, any feedback?
Nothing against Lisa and Greg and you, but I think you need more input of what that job description should be. I'm not worried about if something happens to you tomorrow, if you leave tomorrow, because if that's the same thing happened to Greg was to leave, we'd have to start over the county manager. We can find somebody to take your place. And if you're here for 12 to 15 more years, and that's what you said you were, then I think we really need to attack our problems we got today. And listen to me, Commissioner. You got industries that's almost ready to leave Bladen County because they don't have employees. You got all these industries that's potentially coming in here that don't have people to work. And there's nowhere for them to live. I think we need to attack the problems we have today, and finance is not one of them as far as I'm concerned. I think we need to find someone that could go to job fairs and things like that, and let's recruit and help our industry to pay these taxes. I'm not interested in a finance guy being in economic development. I mean that as nice as I can. I think that's not our problem right now.
If we don't find people to work, somewhere for people to stay, and Chuck, you can't do it all, so that's the reason I think this needs to be a position like that. And there's probably other things that y'all can piggyback on.
Well, Mr. Chair, I agree, and I think we said that last year, we need another person because he couldn't do it all. And I think when the other commissioner said, well, that person could do grants or do what other things, other duties that we didn't know what we needed at that time. A lot of the requirements were as a result of the strategic plan. So now we know, we have a vision now. We know what we need to do, and we need someone to do that. I don't have a problem with the person also learning or knowing about the finance side. But because there is an issue though, if we lose our finance person for whatever reason, you do have someone else that can do it, am I correct? No?
Not ready to jump right in. I mean, we would have to, like, we could go hire our auditor's firm to bridge the gap,
Okay.
but then we would have to have a different auditor. They could no longer,
That's right.
they could no longer audit
But we
us.
can function though, we can function. Well, at
Yeah,
least for 60 days, 30, 60 days, until you get someone else on board. But I agree we need another person. And they can do other than just recruit for employees, because where's the issue with employees? Is it because Bladen County doesn't have the folks trained, or they're not educated? Is BCC producing those type of employees? I mean, you can just put it in Indeed, and they'll come to you. You don't need a person to go do all that.
it's a number of issues. It's a dwindling population, but a growing job market. It's having difficulty with housing if they do want to come here. It's, people looking, not as I've heard Ray say a lot, they don't necessarily match up with where the jobs are. There are a lot of reasons why, but we have obviously we have thousands of jobs that we don't have people for, and it's a multifaceted problem, all of which was identified in that strategic plan. So, and it was a lot of this feedback from you all that got me thinking in this direction. I mean,
the thing, Chuck, when we had a conversation, and I was speaking in reference to a position to fill, it was somewhat along the lines that people were saying that you cannot look at you enduring forever. It may be a transition at any time, anything may happen. And we need a person in place to assist with what's happening in the county. At the same time, I'm thinking, when we look at stuff, Chuck, not that I'm saying you're old or young, but when you look at the millennials, the new generation of people that's coming into this thing, that's looking for employment, that's seeking places to stay, we need to address what's happened with new type of work, how people work, the type of environment they come into. So my thinking is, if you would put a person in place with the totality to learn all aspects of it, how to do it all. It's like you leave and go to Denver and go recruit somebody. This guy, whoever it is, go and do the same thing. If they need to go to a college or wherever they need to work and say, let's put a program together in the school system. That person needs to be doing that when you can be focused someplace else. And my thing is, that's the totality. I'm saying it needs to be somebody that's energetic, that can be diverse in the workplace at your place. And with a job description, I'm saying, just like you said, if we can sit down and put one together that will address those needs, finance is a point of everything, but, that person can have a finance to do a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? You just have to work across the line. So my thing is, we need to get Greg and Lisa to put together a job description. But we talked about that when we talked about your transition and how we transitioned those jobs. And when you went out and retired and all this stuff, that was something we said. We had enough money to create something new. So I'm saying we need to create something that's going to be effective for the county. It's in totality, not just going out saying, I'm going to find somebody to put up a hamburger place, but getting ready to look at the complete environment of what's happening in Bladen County. A person that can go out and say, we need housing, we need this, we need that, do that type of impact stuff. bring it to us and say this is something that needs to be done.
I've sat here and listened to all of it, and it all falls in, but you just finished exactly the last 7 words you said was exactly what Mr. Peters said, recruit and housing. I represent y'all on the Bladen Community College Board. I've told them and suggested to them the number one position other than the chancellor or president out there today is the recruiter. Number one, each student represents $10,000 to that college, which is this county. But you've got a college that's willing, Chuck knows this, Mr. Peterson's involved with this program out there. They can get anybody to come and train for any job, and normally it could be free and grant funded for any type of industry that we can find that wants to come. Chuck knows that we've had industry want to come. Machinist is one that I know of for sure. $30 an hour or whatever. But when you go to East and West Bladen and you get 0 to go take a free class to earn that kind of money, and we all want our taxes lowered, and that's the type of income that's going to help people to buy bigger, nicer homes to lower all of our taxes, because the more, the less. But that ties back into, though, where that recruiter may can spend more time at those schools and the other areas to recruit and explain and get into the head, the mindsets and all, to get them to understand why, home is not a bad place to live. We need you. And people that's unemployed and housing, as we all know, we just went to Raleigh last month. Chuck knows this, Greg knows it. Begging for money for workforce housing. But when you get to industry, you got to have a place to live. And can't have one base without the other. And so that is a major concern we have. And all of us look at us, and I know all y'all said, we need better paying jobs. And God bless us, we do. But they cannot come and will not come if they don't have the skilled labor to take the time to learn the trade set which is required to do the job. And so we can sit here and have to take that heat because y'all not looking. That's what you've heard all your life. But now we've got them wanting to come, and we don't have the help. And so far, what we have found is not the willingness to take the classes to get it. So it's a tough situation. So there's a major need in that. Do I have the exact answer? No. But I think a committee can get together and understand all the problems we do have and understand Chuck's problems within his office. But that is a major problem that we've got. And all you can do is be honest with people in the county. We've got companies who want to come, we've got companies willing to pay good money, but we don't have the people willing to do the job, perform the duties that they need. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Martin, do we have approximately $96,000 available for a new position?
We have $96,000 that was savings associated with the staffing reorganization. That it hasn't been determined how it would be appropriated, but that is a potential purpose or use of it.
Has anyone been selected to work in a position out there that since we last talked about this?
No, that's what we're trying to develop, trying to figure out what is the best use of the position.
And when you start doing your job description write-up, will the human resource department be involved with that as well?
Oh, Lord, yeah.
You just only mentioned 3 minutes.
Mr. Peterson. Excuse me, Mr. Martin.
Where's Greg?
No, I was just gonna clarify, I think Chuck was just talking about we have access to, David that does.
Right.
It needs to be a broader group than just the 3 of us.
Okay.
Mr. Peterson.
I don't think that my conversation and Dr. Munson Cogdell's too far apart.
Yeah, I agree.
I think what I was trying to stress is immediate need. If Chuck leaves tomorrow, we're gonna be all right. If Greg leaves tomorrow, we're gonna be all right. If Lisa leaves, we're gonna be all right. This happens in the industry every day. The community colleges leave it. They ain't got nobody to fill them, but they're gonna be all right. But I'm telling you, people, the immediate need is someone to be face to face at job fairs and places like that, and let's try to help these people paying these taxes. That's what I'm trying to say, and let it evolve in helping Chuck a little more, learning a little more. But let's go after our immediate needs in this county, and it's housing and jobs.
Can I ask you, when you talk about recruiters, somebody going to job fairs, like, where would they go? I mean, what do you?
They have job fairs everywhere.
I know that, I know. I mean, you get that
I mean,
one
Chuck
person.
and went to Greg, I don't know if you went, they went to Atlanta when they're doing the realignment with Bragg.
So when you do that, I mean, to come back to what though, is what I'm saying.
Back to what? All
Right.
these job openings we got.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying. Where do we see those vacancies? Where are they listed?
Oh, well,
In Bladen County. I wonder what place in Bladen County?
SPT,
Where?
SPT, right?
well,
Okay.
Dr. Moon, what you asked there is,
Okay. So I'm,
well, here's the thing. They're not listed as much just with the workforce agency as they used to be, because employers have just gotten tired of, they list the jobs there and they can't get people or they're unqualified. So the jobs they're on Indeed, they're on Monster, they're signs in front of their plant. It's not as easy anymore, but the numbers that we have are from like 3 times a year about. Linda calls around to every industry, and how many employees do you have? How many job openings do you have? So that's how we know. And the community college, y'all help pay for a new thing for both people to put applications on and industries to put jobs on. And they're struggling to get people to talent to sign up, like Charles Ray
They're
said.
struggling because the boy that's supposed to be looking after it ain't doing a very good job, but there's going to be another guy hired. That program's going to be take off.
okay.
They're advertising the job right now.
I know we have folks, can I finish that comment here? We have a lot of folks that came out of college last year. They're looking for jobs. They are actually filling in FedEx, UPS, and every place else, trying to find jobs. So it's somewhere we're missing it. I don't know how.
The thing is, I'm listening to Charles, listening to conversation we had. When I was in Denver, I had the privilege of going to a conference. And it was with housing. That's what everybody had that problem.
Oh, yeah.
And when they was there, I talked with a gentleman who was there with the USDA and the Rural Development for Housing from the federal government. And he spoke with me about housing. I had a personal conversation. I want to talk to him about housing and rural areas having housing. He says money's to the side for rural housing development, but privately owned homes. But he said that's an initiative that your county has to take. That's not one we can do. He said your county has to be willing to take that type of initiative to build houses like you see in Wilmington getting ready to build right now. They're building some in Fayetteville has built homes like that, where they're actually condos, there's private homes that they took those low-income houses and turned them into residential, privately owned homes. He said that's an investment that your county has to make. And when I talked with Larry Sampson from Rural Development, he made the same comment. He says, money that if your county would seek funding to build that type of housing unit, where you go and build condos or privately owned condos section where they sell them like private homes. And they're not where they just.
What counties are doing that?
Robinson County is getting ready to put in, I believe, 80 units. Fayetteville is
And the
putting.
county's doing private enterprise. They're gonna build them and they're gonna turn around to the public.
It's a way, it's some kind of way that you transfer them to where the county actually has to be the one to initiate the
I mean, I
process.
knew about Wilmington and money that came in for COVID and they blah, blah, blah.
And I think he said, what Sampson said, that what happened, because people they don't have the money for the initial investment. And so the counties are putting that money up. And then they come in with the rest.
Some kind of way they're doing it, but they're doing some
I think
kind of way they build
you
it privately. condos and places of residence. How to do that, I don't know. See, I just say what I'm saying.
I think
You guys said that.
I think y'all are talking about two subtly different well, not subtly, two different programs, but I mean,
But the reason I'm saying that, when the gentleman was talking to me, I didn't have enough expertise to know what he was talking about. But if we could hire someone, like Charles said, deal with housing, that could reach out to these guys through your agency and figure out how that's done. That person, that would be his job. We need housing. Go wherever we need to go to figure out how to get housing in Bladen County. We have to be a driving force, so let's deal with it.
Mr. Peterson.
Because sometimes you come around and make my point pretty clear. That's what I said to start with. I want us to attack the immediate needs of Bladen County. And it's not assistant economic director. It's not a financial lady or guy for economic development over at the park. It's housing. It's recruiting. And Dr. Banks is talking about recruiting. If we had someone that was recruiting and following up on this stuff, maybe something would be happening. And I really hope this board would do a workshop on this job description before we turn it over to anybody else. And I'll hush.
and that's kind of where we were thinking from, Charles, is getting the input on all of it from you all.
So this position, wouldn't it be a county position, funded by county funds?
Yes, what we're talking about is a county position to the extent that some of the role, they would be working for Bladen's Blooming as well. Bladen's Blooming has agreed, we were at the meeting, just this time, to the extent that there was Bladen's Blooming work, they would give money to the county to supplement it. So there'd be money in addition to the 96 to help with the position as well.
So they would put some money into the.
Right. When you get the job description and you know that these are county functions and these tie into Bladen's Blooming, then, they're happy to come in and help pay for the position.
The way you have your staff in the line now is not part of us. Y'all are not Bladen County employees, your retirement system, where you came in and did everything.
So all three of us work for the county.
But I'm saying, but the way you switch it around with the retirement type situation, where you, it's limitations on what you can do.
Hours that we
Not
can,
more.
right.
That was only in the beginning. But hours they could work, though. I thought Greg said that's what they had hours to work.
It's the hours we can work.
It's hours they can work. They limit to the amount of time they can work.
Counties.
Yeah, but
Right.
limit to the amount of time. But this,
And Bladen's Blooming has given permission for us to do anything that the county needs and they pay for it.
okay, so these guys won't be, they'll just be strictly which way? This person we have, straight county, 40 hours a week, 37 and a half
So
hours?
it would be through the county, 37 and a half hours a week is the theory.
Okay, all right, that's all I'm.
Thanks, Chuck. We'll take all that into consideration. We'll get that later.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, you don't know?
It's harder to find them than ever because everybody gave up and they've gone their own direction. So there is no good place right now to get.
So what you go to Indeed, I was gonna say, and then you drop your application, they find you from there. They find you.
So yeah, Indeed, Monster, sign out in front,
Okay.
word of mouth. Yes, but people aren't using them the way they used to because they quit meeting with people in person and they're doing everything on the computer and people got tired and quit going.
We can tell you there's about 1,500 job vacancies in the county right now.
I wanna see what they are. So I can.
Thank you.
Thank you. Advisory Board appointment, Juvenile Crime Prevention Council 1.
Tamisha Purdy.
A motion by Mr. Peterson, Mr. Purdy, second by Mr. Cameron. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Advisory Board appointments for consideration during September, Beaver Management, volunteer. County Manager, Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to begin by reviewing the calendar with you for the month of August. Tomorrow at 12 noon, the Lake County Economic Development Commission meets at the Ellis County Airport Terminal building. On Thursday at 12 noon, JCPC monthly meeting will take place in the Health Department conference room. On Monday, the 8th at 5 p.m., the Health Services Advisory Committee meets at the Health Department. Tuesday the 9th at 8 a.m. The Bladen County Board of Conservation District Board of Supervisors has a meeting in Bell Melvin building. Thursday through Saturday, the 11th through the 13th, the Association of County Commissioners Conference will be held in Concord. Also on Thursday, the 11th, local Board of Health training at the Health Department. On Monday, the 15th, the board meets at 6:30, and on Saturday, the 20th, at 12 noon, there at the Career Service Courthouse Lawn. Moving over to September,